Here we go. Let's get it. All right. Hello, everybody. Okay, we had the wrong show going. And we had our politics show last night. I'm sorry that we had to change that. Hopefully, Sybil will get her in together. She couldn't hear us, and it's on her end, so we're not going to touch anything in the studio. I'm going to leave it on the screen so that she'll know that we're talking, and she have to figure it out on her end.
Right.
So, welcome to the Emily Pearl Show. We can hear her now, but I don't know why she can't hear us. So, let's see how the chat box is going and see if I can maybe put a thing in there to her. Sybil, you cannot hear us, and we can hear you. All right, Tim. So how you been doing?
Oh, I'm
Sybil,
doing this. It's been a busy day. I'm kind of hurting a little bit. I think I overdid it. Or it's just one of them days, one of the
you,
two.
I understand. So
Mm.
hopefully, Sybil, you can.
Say again?
I hear feedback
On me?
on my end. Yes, it's coming from on my end. Looks like.
Oh,
Let me.
she calling you now. Oh, she calling me, but my phone ain't beside me.
That's okay, Sybil. We can't hear you. Sybil, can you hear us? Okay, I'm gonna refresh my screen, see if I can get everything going after I type in. Hello, everyone, and welcome. 'Cause I can't hardly talk with this echo. Might be from Sybil. Let me mute her mic and see if that fixes it.
Yeah, make it.
Okay, I just muted her mic and I'm gonna see if it's on her end.
Okay.
Yep, it's def. Nope, not on her end. Okay, so okay, y'all, we're gonna refresh the screen. We'll be don't go away. It won't take but a sec. Okay.
Bear with us through. I, we'll be right back, y'all. It was
Sybil,
okay.
can you
Gosh.
hear me now? Sybil still can't hear us. She's calling me. It's on your end. We can hear you, Sybil.
I did it 1,000 times.
Okay, you know what? I figured out what happened. With my on my end, I forgot the YouTube channel was playing. The YouTube channel was playing. That's what I was hearing the feedback from. So I really didn't have to refresh the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my fault. And so everyone, hello. After we got all the little tech issues out, except for Sybil, we are starting the show.
Mm.
So tonight, I wanted to talk to you all about changes that are currently in effect on Social Security and Medicare. And so we're going to watch this first video on Social Security. As you know, the new administration has been saying they're going to make some changes. Well, they did make some changes, and they are not too good. Well, some of them okay, updates, but let's just take a listen at the dude and He gonna explain to us what it's all about. That'll give me a chance to call Sybil, let her know that she's got a problem. Okay.
All right.
Most people think there is no way they could ever lose their Social Security benefit. But unfortunately, those people are wrong. And some of these ways are super easy to trigger and are way too common. So I want to share with you 10 ways that people can and do lose their Social Security benefits. And we're going to start off with an article by bankrate.com that lists 5 ways, and then I'm going to share 5 other ways as a financial advisor for over 20 years that I have seen and read about and researched about. Okay, the first one, this is according to bankrate.com article, 5 ways you can lose your Social Security. And believe it or not, just the simple act of getting remarried. Bankrate.com says if you're unmarried, age 62 or older, and divorced from somebody who's eligible for Social Security or disability benefits, who you were married to for at least 10 years, you can claim benefits on your ex-spouse's record. However, you'll lose those ex-spouse's benefits if you remarry. You won't necessarily lose ex-spousal benefits permanently, though, is the good news. If your subsequent marriage ends by divorce, woohoo, celebrate, death or annulment, you can collect benefits on your ex-spouse's record once again. And of course, they go on to say, if you have your own Social Security benefit, if you're not using your ex-spouse's benefits, then of course, you're not going to lose your own benefits. But here's a way you can lose your own benefit. Same article, bankrate.com. And that is as simple as you work during early retirement. Now, the key word there is early. And this is if you retire before full retirement age. The article goes on to say if you're younger than full retirement age as of 2020, in this article, 2024, in full retirement age for most people watching this video is going to be 67. You lose $1 of your monthly Social Security check is deducted for every $2 you earn above in 2024. It was $22,320 per year. I'm going to give you the 2025 numbers in a second. And if you reach full retirement age in 2024, you lose $1 of your monthly check for every $3 you earn above $59,520 in 2024. So from the SSA.gov website, in 25, if you're under full retirement age, the annual earnings limit is $23,400 instead of the $22,320 that we mentioned above. And if you reach full retirement age in 2025, the limit on your earnings are quite a bit higher. For full retirement age is $62,160. Again, SSA.gov is the site for this. Now, you don't totally lose those benefits. That your Social Security check later, once you reach full retirement age, will be higher than it otherwise would. But I've never seen a break-even analysis on how long it takes you to get that money back. I suspect quite a while, and it's important to know you could lose your entire benefit, your Social Security benefit. So be very careful if you choose to retire early and think about whether you're going to have to work, because you could be making enough money that you lose some of and maybe all of your Social Security check. Okay, some other ways. This one I hope you never trigger. This is back to bankrate.com. You're incarcerated. If you're convicted of a crime or sentenced to a prison jail term of more than 30 consecutive days, your Social Security check will be suspended. However, benefits to a spouse or children will continue as long as they're eligible, and benefits can be restated once you're released. Okay. The next one is you receive disability payments, but you return to work. The Social Security Administration can terminate disability benefits if the recipient returns to work and earns enough to meet what officials call substantial gainful activity. And for 2024, that monthly earnings was a little over $1,500, $1,550. And if people are blind, it's almost $2,600 a month, $2,590. Okay, likewise, you can lose your disability payments if your condition improves. This again is bankrate.com. This is the last of their 5, and then I have 5 more to go. Your disability payments can also be terminated if the underlying medical condition improves. So those are bank rates. But here's some other ones that can trigger people in ways that they don't think of. And the first one is if you're a non-US citizen and you decide to live outside of the United States. If you're not a US citizen and move outside of the United States for more than 6 consecutive months, your Social Security benefits may be suspended. You can apply to get them back again once you come back to the United States if you do. Another one, these are garnishments, unpaid federal taxes. If you owe the U.S. government money, they can garnish up to 15% of your monthly Social Security benefit for unpaid taxes. Also, unpaid child support. Here, the government can garnish up to 50% of your monthly Social Security benefit. And likewise for student loans, the government can also garnish your wages for unpaid student loans. So it's really important. You know, Social Security is key for Americans, and many of us are rightfully worried about what's going to happen to Social Security. Over 50% of all Americans rely on Social Security for over 50% of their financial needs every month. That's a big number. So what do we do if our financial plan says, hey, I have to rely on Social Security in retirement? And candidly, probably 90% of people do need that Social Security payment. There are folks that don't need the Social Security payment and can still do well, but the vast majority of us do need that Social Security payment. And as I said earlier, over half of all Americans really need it. I mean, they would be, over 50% of their expenses are being paid by Social Security. And for some people, most, they're living off of Social Security. So what do we do if we haven't retired yet and we're wondering what's going to happen to Social Security? Well, first, know that unfortunately the trust fund, which is the excess payments that have been received by Social Security by you and I working, and back in the day, there were quite a few more workers for every retired person. That now is gone. The number has dropped quite a bit, which is one of the reasons the U.S. no longer has this surplus. Fortunately, there are some solutions, but we don't have long to get them into place. The Social Security Trust Fund is predicted to run out of money within the next 10 years. And if that happens, the current payments into the system are only sufficient to fund 70 to 80% of the benefits. So do I think Social Security is going away? Fortunately, I do not think Social Security is going away. But could Social Security be cut back? It could be. I hope that doesn't happen. Another solution would be right now there's a cap at about $176,000 a year. Anything people earn above that is not subject to the Social Security tax, either by the employee or the employer. And that could go away. And if that went away, people say that would be sufficient to fund Social Security, I believe, for the next 50 years, 50 years. So there are solutions. Unfortunately, solutions like this are difficult to come by. It's going to be a compromise. And so encourage your elected official to jump on this because it is critically important. If you enjoyed this video about Social Security, I know you'll enjoy this video here about how much the average retiree lives on.
Okay, that's enough on him. He's a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And I just wanted y'all to hear about what he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about the Social Security changes. Some
Right.
of them I've always been there. But one of the biggies that I wanted to point out was, and let me take this chat off of my face so y'all can see me. Let me just move me up here. One of the biggies that I wanted to talk about was the disability checks that people receive. a lot of people receive disability checks. And what a disability check, I mean, total
Right.
disability checks. It's called SSI. And what a SSI check is for people who did not work on a job and put in enough years, enough work quarters to. Hi, Sybil, can you hear us now? Sybil, can
Uh-oh.
you hear us? Hello,
No.
Sybil. Sybil, can you hear us? Can you hear us? We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. So she has probably muted herself somehow. Oh, she muted herself. Okay, Sybil, stop muting your button. Can you hear us now? Could you say something? Talk, talk, talk. Open your mouth. Okay. Sybil, don't mute your mic. I'll keep an eye on her mic and let her and watch for when she's pushing buttons. But she's
Yeah.
got a problem. We could hear her background earlier, but she muted herself. So now she's
Right.
trying to text me. And Sam, can you text her and tell her to go out of her computer and go come in on her cell phone so she don't miss the whole show? Thank you. I'm gonna take her off screen.
Okay.
All right then. So the reason why I was wanting to big emphasis to you all audience on the SSI check is because a lot of people receive strictly SSI, which is disability checks. And what happens is the main one that I wanted to point out was about how you can lose that SSI check on two major points. Number one is if your condition improves. A lot of times the disability could go dormant. There are some diseases that qualify under SSI that do end up going dormant, meaning that the person won't have it anymore. And I guess that's why they're up doing these updates um, to check on people's health status because
Mm-hmm.
um, for some time now, and I didn't found out about this probably about 5 years ago. There are some people that receive an SSI disability check that have to go in to the whatever doctor they assign to them for their state, from
Mm-hmm.
their state that they live in, like every year or every 2 or 3 years, to have a lot of more tests done, to have a physical done, just to make sure the government wants to make sure that they still are disabled.
Excuse me, boss. You have a
But
text message.
that's simple. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I
Sorry.
got yeah, that's okay because I told you to text her. But they are going to be doing that more frequently now with this new Social Security changes that in 2025. So you need to be aware of that. And the other one is that I know you guys have heard me mention on the show before that people have had their uh, SSI checks cut off
Yeah.
because of their Facebook page. Okay, so Sybil, we're gonna see if you can hear us now. Will you talk?
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Welcome back.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I went in the back door. I don't know.
I don't know, but we're happy to have you here. And so the other second major, most important one that I wanted to talk about was getting your SSI check cut off from social media posts because the government is watching the Social Security posts of senior citizens. And so when they see, you know, the family members, you have to, well, the individual themselves have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of great videos of people 100 years old, 80 years old, dancing, or 70 years old, dancing, cutting the rug, right? Well, unfortunately, and this didn't just start, they've been doing this for quite some time, but they're getting ready to enforce it more seriously. Um, I knew I saw a post where I think the lady was in her 60s or something. She was a senior citizen, and boy, she was cutting the rug. And then it was another case of a lady that was actually in church doing the holy dance.
Wow.
Mm.
And yeah, and it went viral. The video did, and in most cases, these videos of these older senior citizens dancing really goes viral. And what they did was they cut off their disability checks because they said they didn't seem to be disabled.
Yeah, you're able bodied. Mm-hmm.
You're able-bodied. If you can dance like this, you're able-bodied, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful, and they are really enforcing it in 2025 with these new Social Security changes. So that's why I wanted to
Yeah.
uh, have that video tonight. Now, people that have worked and earned your SSA is different. Uh, that's not just government money. That's money that you have paid into the Social Security Railroad Retirement System because you worked 30 years or 40 years. That's what I'm on. And so that's not the case with that because they don't bother you with that. If you feel like cutting the rug, that's fine because that's your money you earned it. You're not pulling, you're not, all of your money is not coming from the government.
Right.
In other words, because this is
So,
where
but is that the same thing as SSI?
no,
This
SSA is different from
I'm
SSI.
talking about what is SSI?
That's Social Security disability.
Oh, I see.
That's for people that have not worked 40 hours on a regular job or a job that took out Social Security or that they paid into from a job.
Oh, I see.
Like when you've worked steady on jobs all of your life, like I have. I started working on, I've worked for every level of government it is. I've already told y'all, city, county, state, and federal. But I started working when I was 16 years old. I didn't stop working until I was 62 years old. I always kept a 40-hour a week job, so I paid in for all of those years, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm on SSA, which is called Social Security Association of Retirement Fund. But for people who have not worked, and yeah, and I think I don't know, I'm not gonna say this right now. I'll say that later. But for people that like worked as in restaurants, service, hotels, waitresses, and things like that all their lives. They did those companies, those restaurants. They didn't take out Social Security from the people's checks that they made, because they wasn't making anything anyway. I mean, for the longest time that I can remember, uh, waitresses and hostesses and like that, particularly in restaurants, they only made like $2 an hour. So I mean, how could you pay into anything, right? Because
Mm.
they basically the their earnings were basically dependent. They were dependent rather, and still is on their tips, right?
Right.
So those are the people that get SSI. Those are the senior citizens that get
Oh, I
SSI.
see.
Yes. And so they're making changes in 2025. They're spying on us through social media. So we must be very careful with that. Now, another change that's important that's coming up with Medicare. Medicare is also uh, it's the medical aspect of it, and you can lose that as well. But this, because Medicare goes with SSI, and it also goes with SSA. But like I say, they don't mess with the SSA because these people work 40, 30, 50 years. They paid in that. But the SSI people can lose both. They can lose a Social Security check and they can lose their Medicare. Okay. All right, then. And Medicaid, of course. Okay, so the next one is the health changes that the Trump administration has put into effect, and it really is good news for us on the medical side of the changes that was made that are in effect. So
Mm-hmm.
now this guy that's talking about them, I think he is a health advisor, health medical insurance. He's with some group, probably insurance, probably an insurance agent like me. But he was very informative, and I liked it. So we're gonna listen to what he has to say about Medicare, and then we're gonna come in and discuss a little bit on that. Okay, so let's.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna play him all the way through. I'll be cutting him off after he gets the important part out. Okay, here we
Mm-hmm.
go.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. If you or someone you love receives Social Security, you need to hear this right now. This is because of what just came out in federal court. It could be the biggest betrayal that we've ever seen in the Medicare system, guys. Today is Thursday, May the 1st, 2025. And what I'm about to share with you, it's jaw dropping. In fact, a massive lawsuit just dropped and it's explosive. The U.S. government is accusing some of the biggest names in the healthcare industry. We're talking about Aetna, Humana, Elevance, and several other major brokers of secretly scheming to take advantage of people like me and you. Now, we're talking about hundreds of millions in dirty money, illegal kickbacks, and most gut-wrenching, the allegedly discriminated, guys, this is bad. They allegedly discriminated against disabled Social Security recipients, guys. Disabled people. You got to be out of your mind, right? Because they were seen as less profitable. Unbelievable. So what I'm thinking is, you guys let me know if I'm correct or incorrect. If you're disabled, do you get SSDI or is it SSI? Let me know how that works. I'm not really sure which one you might receive, but that's right, guys. While you were, or at least while you thought you were being guided toward the best Medicare plan, you may have actually been deliberately steered away, not because of what's in your best interest or, best for your health, but because maybe someone was chasing a big fat commission check. Now, a whistleblower came forward with evidence that could blow this lid off the entire Medicare Advantage industry. And the Justice Department says that they actually have the receipts. Now, I just wanted to get this video out real quick. I'm not going to edit this or anything. I just wanted to get this information out there. I'll put some helpful links in the description down below this video so that you can look into it for yourself. But I just wanted to, because it was breaking news. It literally just came out like a couple of hours ago. So in today's video, we're going to, just reveal exactly how these companies got caught, which brokers were involved, see if maybe one of them is a broker that you're doing business with right now, and what this means for your Social Security. Like, if you're on Social Security or Medicare, you need to know what this means for you, right? Also, why this particular case could lead to criminal charges. If this is true, do you think someone needs to go to jail for this? Just a quick yes or no down below, guys. If you haven't already, also drop a quick like for the video for getting this information out there, and definitely consider subscribing to the channel for more breaking news content like this. So, one executive was caught saying the quiet part out loud, that reducing the number of disabled enrollees made their team jazzed. Let that sink in for a second, okay, guys? Like, what does that mean to you? This isn't just a lawsuit. This is a wake-up call. Now, stick with me, because what you're about to hear could affect millions of Americans, and it could change how you protect your own health care for good, or maybe even the health care of your parents. So let's get into the heart of it. And by the way, if you take care of an elderly parent, just let me know in the comments down below. You can just drop a quick yes. I want to know who's actually watching the show right now today. All right, because this isn't just some boring bureaucratic legal spat thing going on here, guys. This is about how your Medicare plan may have been corrupted from the inside out. Okay, so the federal government just exposed a massive kickback scheme involving three of the biggest insurance giants in the country: Aetna, Humana, and Elevance, formerly known as Anthem. Now, prosecutors are saying that these companies, they paid hundreds of millions of dollars in illegal kickbacks to brokers. And not just one or two. We're talking about eHealth, GoHealth, and SelectQuote. Have you guys heard of any of these companies? But they didn't call them kickbacks. Of course not. These payments were disguised. They were dressed up as innocent looking marketing reimbursement, or maybe even admin costs, right? But in reality, it was dirty money, guys. I'm just going to adjust my camera just so I can get a little bit better lighting. It's starting to get a little dark out here. Is that any better, guys? Let me know if that's a little bit better. I don't want to get dark out, but I also wanted to enjoy a little bit of nature today. Um, but it was dirty money. Now, a reward, basically a reward system for pushing unsuspecting Medicare recipients into plans that would maximize profits, not maximize patient care. Does that sound fair to you? Now, guys, this was never about what's best for you. This was about which company could write the biggest check to control your decision. And as bad as that sounds, what they did next is even worse. They weren't just rigging the game, they were actively discriminating against the most vulnerable among us. Now, under the Medicare Advantage system, what you know as Medicare Part C, private insurers are supposed to compete or give you better service, right? But when brokers get paid more to sell certain kinds of plans, then they're no longer working for you. That doesn't sound like a very fiduciary relationship, does it? They end up working for whoever pays them the most money, period. So what happened? Just take a wild guess. What happened, guys? Brokers started pushing seniors and disabled Americans into plans that they made the most money off of, not the plans that met their medical needs. So I immediately think of either SSI or SSDI in this case. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. So imagine needing like dental or vision care, or, maybe you got some kind of chronic issue and you need regular support, right? And getting a plan that doesn't even cover it, all because your broker was chasing a bonus, even though there was a better plan out there, but they didn't get paid as much. So imagine they didn't offer you the best plan. They offer you the plan that would pay them the most. Is that fair? Like, that isn't just shady. It's actually dangerous, because some people have life-threatening.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Because I have been warning people about the Medicare Advantage plans for about 5 years when they started that mess. All you see is commercials, commercials, commercials. So much darn commercials. Medicare Advantage, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Advantage. What he's talking about, the lawsuit is about, is these companies that push these seniors onto these plans by dangling a carrot in front of them. You get free vision care, you get free dental, or you get this subsidiary check to help you with your groceries. Y'all seen those commercials, right? Right,
Yeah.
audience? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what they're not telling the people is that when it gets sick and go into the hospital and have something serious to happen to you where you have to go to the hospital, those plans will leave you with a hospital bill. And those hospital bills, the hospitals now, one of the changes that goes along with insurance, health insurance, is that now the hospitals can take their bill money out of your SSI check. So that's what he's talking about. And that's why the lawsuit has been brought against some of these companies, these health insurance companies that have signed senior citizens up and people on disability on SSI and SSDI on these Medicare Advantage plans that is not going to cover but maybe half, maybe 50 or 60% of their hospital bill. Now, it might cover the doctor's office visit, right? But get sick and go into the hospital and find out what you end up with. And that's what he's talking about. And I have been warning people all along for the past 5, 6 years about this. And several, you found out about it. Somebody has
Yeah,
switched you to one of those advantage
they
plans.
sure did. And I
And
unswitched myself too.
yeah, but you're back on it again. And
No,
you,
I,
yeah, you are. Yeah, you are because you told me so.
I
You get
was at one time, but I'm on something different now.
No, you're not on the straight Medicare because you tell me you get a check for your groceries. So that's a Medicare Advantage plan. Believe me, I know.
Well, I can
I
change that.
I am an insurance company. But
Hmm.
the point of it is, and the main point I'm trying to make is don't get fooled by a dangling carrot.
Yeah, that
Because
makes
the
sense.
thing of it is that you want to be covered. You don't want the bill. Okay, before 2025, this is 2025, and we got to face this for at least for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is the urgency of it. The federal government is now allowing uh, companies and hospitals to take money out of your Social Security check. This is a big change. That's not good news. Okay. So that means that if you get sick and go to the hospital, and you have a hospital bill, you got to try to scrape up the money to pay a monthly note on it, or they're going to take that monthly amount out of your Social Security check. Who can afford nowadays for anything to be coming out the little low cheap check they already get? Nobody.
Everybody.
Nobody. So they've got these seniors and disabled people enrolled in these plans, and they're finding out, and it's just thankful. It's a blessing symbol that you hadn't had to experience it, but it's happening to senior citizens and people that receive SSI, um, and and SSDI every day. And at our age, we don't ever know when we're gonna get sick enough that we have to go
Mm,
into the hospital. So that's nothing to play with. That's why that guy, I liked that video when I heard that.
I do too. Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, this is really, really bad. I knew that the changes were coming, but the part that most people don't know about is that now the federal government is allowing hospitals to take their bill money out of your Social Security check. And this is not just for SSI and SSDI people, but it's also for SSA people. So, because there's some people that's on SSA, which is not total money from the government for disability. But if people are on SSA that have signed up for these Medicare Advantage plans too, and lots of them, and just to get free vision, or just to get dental care, or just to get this grocery check, everybody, all these commercials and dangling in front of them, having to sign up for, cheating them out of full hospital coverage, pay for the bill on just straight Medicare. And that's why I never signed up for those plans because I knew then that it was a ripoff. They started out with the silver sneakers where you could go to the exercise, the gym and exercise to get people to switch over. And then they,
Well, people can switch back to the other way.
but you have to call the Social Security office. Good luck getting through with that because they say that people, the lines are shutting down, the website is shutting down because so many people trying to call. But yeah, you do need to switch back to straight Medicare and
yeah.
just do what you can do. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, you know what? I really don't like the way that the system has treated you all's generation. There was a time where you could retire and that was it. You didn't
Hmm.
have to do anything additional. You was able to, not live extravagant, but you didn't have to work anymore. And now I see you all's generation more and more
Working at the Walmart, working at the
working
cash
at the
register.
Walmart cash registers. I mean, having to come out of retirement to work.
That's
To
right.
me, now we got all this corruption going on. Now I saw a gentleman speak on this. He was on some type of board, but he was saying basically this. I'm just because it was a long conversation, but he was saying that we have spent these people retirement money,
That's true.
and he was saying, these people are going to get ready to retire, and the money is not going to be there.
That's true. If there's people that's applying for it now, well, he was like the gentleman before the financial aid, not financial aid, but the financial planner was saying on the first video. Over the next within about 5 years, there's not going to be enough money in the Social Security fund to even pay people that will be eligible to receive Social Security simply because young people stop working. jobs. They don't stay on job but a hot minute. They don't work on jobs. they they're not putting anything in. So if you're not if you got generation after generation that hadn't put anything in there for the past 30 years,
Yeah,
and how is anything gonna come out of it, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's just
Um,
common sense.
yeah, I'm with you on that. This generation, like you said, they don't stay on the job but a hot minute.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they don't have no idea what long term mean when it comes to a
Uh-uh.
job.
Because they only thinking about now.
Yeah,
They living in only the day.
yeah.
They don't even think tomorrow is coming.
Mm-mm.
And if it is coming, they don't give a darn
They
about
don't
it.
care. Yeah,
They're not planning. They don't know nothing about planning. They don't know how to plan.
yeah.
And that's what they need to
And
teach in school.
I believe even though that generation it really has its ups and downs, but I believe that that's going to be the generation that really stands up to the government.
Well, yeah, they good in politics. I see a whole lot of young podcasters
Yeah,
against the government.
yeah.
So now I give them credit for that, but still, they need to do their part financially to the country too. Now
They do.
I'm with your boy Trump
Uh,
on that. They
yeah,
need
they
to do
do.
their part too on that
They do.
to the
I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and that's one big source of a lot of these young people's income. But it could go away at any moment.
saying they ain't got no retirement system.
No,
YouTube is not gonna give you a retirement system.
no,
DoorDash is not gonna give you a retirement system.
no.
Mhm.
Delivering for Instacart is not gonna give you a
Uber,
retirement system.
Uber ain't gonna give you one either.
Walmart isn't either.
And Uber isn't either. So
Mm-mm.
now, yeah, I think Walmart do. Walmart used to have a retirement system because I've known people that have worked for Walmart for
I
30
don't know if
years.
it's part timers or not that
I
gets
think
it.
it's the full time. It
No,
was
it's
the full
full
time.
time. It's only full. It was always only full
Yeah, it's
time.
full
Yeah,
time.
But I've all,
yeah.
but
Let's
I've
talk about
known,
the part timers.
yeah, but
No,
I've known people that work for Walmart for years and they retired from Walmart. So
mm,
yeah, so but these restaurants, they not gonna give a retirement system either. So whew, that was a lot to cover, but those are two
That was a
important.
lot. Yeah.
Those are two important issues. So right
mm.
now we're gonna take a blink break. When we come back, I want to tell y'all about another scam that's going on. And I mentioned that to Sybil the other
Yeah.
day. I just saw this on the news day
Mm.
before yesterday, and it's sad. So that's another warning we want to warn y'all about. Let's take a break. A blink break. It'll be a little longer than a blink, though. So
Okay.
don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Woo! Wow, that's my boogie music, man. I get so into. and I got my big bass and my earphones too.
Mm.
Man, it makes me go back to my young days when I was in my 20s, when I was getting down, man. Get on down in your soul kind of boogie. All
All right.
right then. So a couple of days ago, this poor African American senior citizen was on the local news channel. She got scammed. She was giving 100 to $200 every 2 weeks on a gift card, sending to a scammer for a period of at least almost 2 years that claimed to have been a big wrestling star. Can you believe that, y'all? When
No,
I saw that,
no.
That's hard to believe anybody be that
Mm.
stupid.
I was like, okay, this woman, she's senior citizen because she had gray hair, and this was her natural hair, you
Yeah,
know, salt and pepper. She had on a cap. She didn't even look to have $100 to $200 every week to send somebody. She looked poor,
yeah, yeah.
like
I've
she
heard of
barely
that.
scraping by herself.
Yeah, I've heard of that, and I've watched like many documentaries on that, and sometimes they don't even on the scammers don't make it seem like a romance type of thing, and then on some other hands they do, and
Most of
they're constantly, like you say, they're senior citizens and they're sending their money. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah. So my advice to a senior citizen is this: look, I'm really, really sorry for you if you didn't get out and spread your seeds when you were young. If you didn't get enough of it when you were young.
go play bingo.
Okay, because I know, I know, if they go play some
oh,
bingo.
that's better chance of winning a little money.
Yeah, yeah, go to bingo. He might be waiting on you.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that um, most of these people are truly lonely.
Yeah,
But I can understand maybe they're lonely, but I have to get to the root of the problem. When I saw that, I asked myself, what is the root of the loneliness? You know, because there's a difference between being alone
and
and
being
being
alone.
lonely.
Yeah,
I live alone and
I love
have
him. Me too.
and
yeah,
and
me
have
too.
and have since 2005.
I
Yeah,
love
Okay,
I love my
I
company.
love living alone, and I'm sure in the
yeah, me
hell
too.
is not lonely.
Me either.
I got enough of it when I was young. That's why you be young. You get I went through three
Yeah,
husbands.
you potted, mama.
I
Yeah,
got enough of it. I parted.
yeah.
And then after I divorced, after 2005, I had boyfriends. Okay. I was never lonely. So I'm sorry if you did not live the life.
Well,
No.
my mom was the one that, after my divorce and everything, she was the one that told me about how beautiful peace was, and once you get hold to it, you want to cherish it. But I heard her, but as time went on and went on, I felt it.
Yeah.
I really felt it. I said, I know what she's talking about now.
Know what I'm talking about
Yeah,
now, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And so you been out there when you were young, you got
yeah.
enough of it, so ain't nobody finna scam you
Right.
because you got it up here, You
Yeah,
got like, but senior citizens, if y'all know some ladies and men too, because the men getting suckered
yeah.
in
Yeah,
as
they are.
well. These
They
poor
are.
senior citizens, look, don't be fooled by somebody on these social medias or emails talking about how much they love you. They saw your picture here, you so beautiful. This they love the way you do this or
Hmm.
that and try to establish some type
Hmm.
of relationship with you. Once they start that, when you see that first message that they send to you,
Yeah,
you need to block them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and
That's the best thing.
you need to
Stay
block.
away from those areas.
Don't even respond. Just block them, please. Okay.
Mhm.
Because ain't no love out there on the social media.
Nah, it
If you're
really ain't.
lonely and you want to go out and meet somebody, you got to go out in public. Go out in public and meet somebody so you can see the real person.
Yeah,
Go out and mingle and
that's
meet
better.
somebody that way. and,
There's a
and
lot of community events.
yeah, but then and even then, 75% of the time they not who they say they are. They you gotta you still have to be careful there.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah,
I don't do it.
yeah.
I had enough of it. I ain't do it. I ain't trying to meet nobody. I don't need no companion. I don't need no boyfriend. I sure in the hell don't need no husband. So they don't
Mhm,
play.
Yeah.
They don't
mhm,
play with me sending me nothing and messing stuff because they
mhm.
know Miss Emily Pearls ain't down for that kind of stuff.
All right.
And I'm trying to pass it on to my fellow senior citizens. Please don't fall for that.
Yeah.
Like Tim say, go to the bingo or
Somewhere.
to the casino because there be a lot of senior citizens going down there, and that's where she should have went. If she had 100 to 200,
She would have been better off.
if she had, if she got that much money, $100 to $200 every 2 weeks
Yeah.
to blow,
That's $400 a
Yeah.
month.
then she should have just tried her look at the
Four
casino.
Yeah.
thousand,
She probably
about
would have
four
did better.
thousand a year. Isn't it about 4,000?
She did a whole lot better.
Yeah, at least she would have got a win here or there because she
Yeah.
ain't got nothing from that.
Yeah. You're right.
She
You're
just
right.
That
got
little
to-
free play and got more money from that.
she just got totally ripped off.
And
Yeah.
now everybody knows who she is, so she's gonna be so embarrassed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I mean, but if anybody gonna rip you off, let it be you ripping yourself off.
that's right. But I know she's embarrassed, but I'm glad she came forward. That was brave. I want to compliment her on being brave to come forward so that people could actually see a real person because they hear about it on the news and they hear about
Yeah.
it. And
Well,
and let me tell you, the thing about it is levels of education don't have anything to do with it. Um,
Absolutely not. Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You can have. They don't care. People get sucked in by these scams.
Hmm.
Have doctorate degrees, graduate degrees, high school education, no high school. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
So
matter.
it's not that they're stupid,
Mm-mm.
or ignorant. I don't. They're gullible.
Yeah.
They're just gullible.
Yeah.
what woke her up I, to know it was a scam? I
I,
wonder.
I don't know. I think they did say, but I'm not gonna say it because
Oh,
I
I
don't
see.
remember.
Okay.
I don't remember correctly, and I'm not gonna missay something on
Yeah,
um on
of course
TV.
not.
But a lot of them get ripped off and they don't come forward. And that's why I want to compliment her, even
Mhm.
though she has to go through the embarrassment
The
of it all.
shame, the guilt.
hmm I want to compliment her for being brave
Yeah.
enough to come forward because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
She's not alone. Believe me, she's not alone.
I don't know. There's
mm-mm.
a lot of scammies out there.
Yep. And look, uh, that was just what sent me one. This had to be sometime last year. I have been. He said he was supposed to be in the military, and he been watching my posts. He loved my posts, and he think I'm such a beautiful person. And he been sending me messages trying to getting get me to message him back or something. But and he's not trying to be funny or trying to be stalking or anything. He just liked my post and such a beautiful lady and blah blah blah. I looked up the name and found the picture of the real person that had that name. That was it. And I replied back. I say, "Uh, thank you, but no thank you." I said, because you are not the real whatever the man's name was, and I put the man's picture attached the
Yeah.
picture to the
You
reply.
know, you
I didn't
know,
hear from him no more.
No,
yeah,
didn't.
yeah. You know a good way to put an end to that, ask them for some money first.
That you right.
Ask them for some
You
money and
right,
see what
Tim.
Yeah,
happens.
that'll cut that off right quick.
Yeah, ask them for some money before
But,
they ask you for
but
some money.
some of them be so bold though. They'll try to keep the conversation going long enough to try to backfire it on you. So My advice is just simply this:
Block them.
block them, don't respond. That's
I
the
am
best
so
Yeah,
thing.
happy
they go for the
Facebook has
spam
a.
calls too. The spam calls are just as
Oh
bad.
yeah, that's pretty bad.
Well, I don't answer nobody.
I don't need.
Everybody knows I don't answer a number that I don't recognize.
Yeah, I done got to
Even
that point too.
yeah, and I get them every day, but they just wasting their time, and I block them as well.
Yeah,
I probably block 4 to 5 calls a day, but
yeah,
thank goodness now we can block them
yeah,
You
oh
know
because
yeah.
what?
I
I don't.
remember.
I don't get those people on my voicemail. I don't know why, but I'm happy I don't.
Well, there was a time when we didn't have any way to block it, and we didn't have call ID, and we
I'm sure
had to
that.
answer the
Yeah.
phone.
Y'all
So,
generation didn't have any spam calls, did
yeah, we would get a few, but not like
Not
now.
like today. And every 99% of the time is accents, thick accents.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's the other problem with customer service companies now. And I'll tell you that the companies that use, I mean, these are big name companies that use the customer service call centers out of India, as far away as India, uh,
yeah,
South Korea, and all these other places.
Nigeria.
yeah.
Uh,
A lot of broken English too. You're right.
no, not broken English. They are foreigners, but they know how to speak English. But
Oh, okay,
they don't speak it
Thick
well.
accent.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I heard people complain about it all the time. Like,
Yeah,
you trying to call customer service, take care of some business, and they can't understand the person the customer service representative that's supposed to
yeah,
be helping them because they're a foreigner,
yeah,
and the accent, like Sybil says, is very thick,
yeah.
and they cannot pronounce English well
Yeah.
like we do, and so you
It's the
have to keep
company's
saying,
fault.
"Huh? What you say? Huh?
If
Huh?"
I get one, I say, please slow down so I can understand you. And then they'll
Yeah,
slow down a little bit.
yeah. Some of them do.
Mm.
But Tim, you told
Yes.
me something really funny about this guy you saw on YouTube about a bill collector. Why don't you
Yeah.
share that with us?
Yeah. Well, the call went like this. He asked to speak to the guy. The guy said, "This is me." He said, "Well, Mr. So and So, I'm calling in regards to your credit card bill. Uh, yeah, we calling in effort for your credit card bill." He said, "Well, why you calling me?" He said, "Well, we calling you about the bill." He said, "Well, it's free money." He said, "What do you mean it's free money?" He said, "It's not free money." He said, "Yeah, you sent me the card with the money on it. I not pay it back." He said, "No, sir, you got it wrong. You got to pay it back." He said, "I'm not paying it." He said, "Do what you like, but I'm not paying it." He said, "Can I have your phone number?" He said, "Well, no, sir, we're not allowed to do that." He said, "Well, why you calling my house bothering me?"
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. That's the best I done heard in a while.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that was
pretty
really
good.
that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So he just applied for a lot of credit cards just to see if he would get them. They sent them
Good.
to him.
I watched that
And
thing
he
about
spent the
40
money.
times.
He spent the money and didn't pay him back.
Yeah, I watched it
Yeah.
about 40 times. You'll
I,
know it if you come across it, though.
okay. Yeah. Well, they did send the money, but people never want to read the print. He had no intentions of paying
No, he
his
wasn't
back
going to pay back no
from the
way.
beginning.
He told him that. He
All
told
they
him he's
do,
not
all
gonna,
it does is ruin your credit. They can't really do
yeah, because
anything.
he
Yeah,
asked him, did he pay last month? He said, no, I'm not paying last month. I'm not
I'm not
paying
gonna pay
any.
this much. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay then. Well, that's our show for the night, Tim.
All
Close
right.
mark that. No, I'm gonna let Simba do close the mark because you
Well,
just
that
talked.
was very informative, and
Mm.
I'm glad that you ended on such a
Mm.
funny note like that. I think humor is very important. So we just count our blessings and hang in there.
Yeah.
And Emily did a great job informing us about many things that's very
Yeah, it was
important.
a lot. It was a lot to
Yeah,
take in.
that's
Good
very
info.
important. Yeah, definitely take note of it and get stuff
Mm.
in order because
Yeah.
these 2025 changes with this new administration is going to hurt a lot of people because they didn't know about it. So spread the word, everybody. Let them know. And they can go to ssa.gov and find everything that I've told you right on the website. You just have to take time and read it so you can see how it will affect you.
Mhm.
Tim, your comments.
Ooh, yeah, that was a lot, but it was all good information because it's good that we put that information out because, like you say, a lot of people don't do that much reading like that. Uh, but it's almost now it has to be mandatory that you do because,
Yeah.
like you said, you won't even know what's
Until you
going
don't have
on.
a check coming and you'll be calling the
Yeah,
Social Security and say, I didn't get my check. What happened?
right, right. So
Where
yeah,
my
I
check?
mean,
That's and you don't want to find out at the last minute. You
yeah,
want to take
yeah.
care of your
So
business ahead of time so
yeah, that was
that you can
wonderful
make.
information. Wonderful.
Well,
Hmm.
thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sybil. As
Yeah.
always, thank you, my co-host. They're the best in the world. Thank you so much, audience. You are too. We hope you like our new intro. We had a new
Yes,
intro for
I do.
Politics Show
Yeah, I
last
like it.
night, and
I
we
like.
have a new one for tonight. And now enjoy our closing intro because pretty much the same one, just got different words. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say my pearl monologue tonight. Maybe another night when we don't have such a long show. So we love y'all, and what we say, girl. Good night, everybody. We love you. Bye.